In a different universe.
Find Peter Parker!
Who the hell are you?
Who am I? You came into my room. I'm Spider-Man, and you guys are kind of interrupting my video right now. You mind? Somehow that's still not the weirdest thing I've experienced. What's going on, guys? It's it's Spider-Man here, and we're here to do a review today on my personal sneaker, the Air Jordan 1 Next Chapter. Okay, so it's actually me. But I thought it was only fitting that if I'm doing a review on a Spider-Man shoe, that I dress like the man himself. So let's actually get into the shoe review. Okay, now the Air Jordan 1 Next Chapter is inspired by the upcoming movie Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which drops on June 2nd, and Jordan Brand basically went ahead and dropped a shoe inspired by all the colors and by the animations that are done in that movie. Now, this isn't the first time that Jordan Brand came out with a Jordan 1 inspired by Spider-Man. Back in 2018, the prequel to this movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, came out, and they actually dropped a Spider-Man 1 inspired by that movie, so they went ahead and continued the tradition with this movie. Now, this sneaker releases Saturday, May 20th for a retail price of $200, and they will be available in full family sizing. Now, with it releasing on May 20th is actually really nice because they come out before the movie, which means that if you are going to go watch the movie, you can actually put these on your foot, just like I'm going to be doing on that day. Now, Nike sneakers did have a shock drop for this shoe a couple of weeks ago where you were able to try and go on a first come, first serve basis and try and pick up this pair through their app. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get my personal pair, but I was able to get my girl's pair, and of course, as a Spider-Man fan, I was not going to miss out on this shoe, so I did end up picking these up for resale. I had my boy on Instagram go ahead and give me a really good deal on this, so without him, I wouldn't have the shoe in my hands as of right now, so I just wanted to give him a huge shout out, but I couldn't pass up on this pair, especially having the original pair that they came out with in 2018. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some of the nice creative details that they put on this shoe. Now, as I mentioned before, Jordan Brand was not playing when it came to the creativity of this shoe. In the Spider-Verse movies, the multiverse or multiple universes are a huge influence of how the movie plays out. And with this shoe, what they did is they gave us a bunch of paneling across the shoe to kind of give us a taste of what this shoe would hypothetically look like in different universes. So each panel on this shoe has different materials, different finishes, and just overall looks compared to a regular Jordan 1 to really give us that Spider-Verse feel. And I think that it really makes this shoe stand out from any other Air Jordan 1 that I've owned in the past. Making your way up to the front of the shoe, around the toe box, you have your nice traditional red leather that they usually put on most of the Air Jordan 1 Chicagos. Now, they did go with a shade of red that's brighter than what they usually give us on Chicago ones, but of course, they are trying to make this shoe stand out, kind of give it the Spider-Man colorways, so it makes absolute sense. But as you start making your way towards the side of the shoe, you do get a darker suede material across this section of the shoe here. It is a nice touch. It's something completely different from what Jordan Brand's ever done. They usually wait until the next kind of overall section of the shoe before they switch up the materials, but this shoe does not follow that structure at all. You actually get 4 different materials in the front of the shoe before you even make it to the laces. Now, not only do you get material changes on the front of the shoe, you also get some nice material changes across the back heel of the shoe with a nice patent leather with an iridescent look. If you've ever seen oil spilled on the floor, this is kind of the reflection that it gives off when you're looking at these patent leather sections, and the Nike swoosh is in that patent leather material as well. So it's a really nice look, really makes the Nike symbol pop. And as you make your way up to the top of the shoe where the Jordan logo typically is, you get these nice red, yellow, and blue circles that are kind of supposed to give a 3D effect, which I got to imagine is inspired by all the different shapes that, you kind of see as the animation style in the movie, as well as they're traveling in different kind of universes. So it's a nice touch. Again, this shoe really takes that Spider-Verse feel and just kind of implements it in every way possible on the shoe. Now, the tongue on this shoe is made out of a different material, which is similar to what you normally get on Jordan 1s, but this is a little stiffer, and they did change the Nike Air tag on the tongue. They kind of gave it this extended look where you kind of have a little bit of a white section underneath. They didn't really loop it over the tongue and give us the usual writing inside the tongue like they do on other Jordan 1s. I don't know if this was supposed to also give off that 3D effect. It's not bad. I like that they still have the Nike Air tab there, but I do think it would have been even cooler if they gave us this kind of off-centered Nike Air with this Nike Air writing here to kind of give off the look that's on the side of the shoe, that kind of 3D effect. I really think it would have worked really well. Now, as for the midsole of the shoe, nothing really changed here. It's pretty much just your regular midsole on a Jordan 1. But the bottoms of these shoes are very impressive. They didn't just give us a nice flat red bottom like they do on all other Jordan 1s. They did give us a translucent red. It's kind of slightly see-through. And one really dope thing that they did with this pair is that at first glance, this red sole, you would think it's just a regular red sole. But once these actually hit the light outside, the sun, they actually have a reaction where once you make your way back inside or into a kind of darker environment, they actually have a bright yellow glow in the dark, which I've never seen on a pair. This pair just doesn't look like it would do that. But the way that these shine off, it's just so unique. It's just another bit of detail that they added to this shoe to really make it have that multiversal effect. But the way that these glow in the dark is just insane. It truly is something that they didn't have to do, but the fact that they did it just makes this shoe so much better in my opinion. And all these different things are honestly so impressive to have on the shoe. Now, this is the sequel to the original Air Jordan 1 origin story. And I gotta say that there are a couple of things on this shoe that I don't like compared to what was on the original. Now, the original Air Jordan 1 origin story came out in 2018 alongside the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. And it caught the world by surprise. I don't think anybody was expecting Jordan Brand to come out with a Spider-Man inspired Air Jordan 1. So, when you attach an iconic superhero like Spider-Man, seriously, I don't think there's anybody in the world who doesn't know who Spider-Man is, and attach him to one of the most iconic shoes to ever be created, it just automatically meant this shoe was going to sell out. And there are so many different details that they put onto this shoe to really give it that Spider-Man effect, which really resonated with sneakerheads and Spider-Man fans. Starting with the blue and red Nike Air tag, that's a little different from what they've done with this shoe here. The kind of circle design pattern that they added on the red, which is a nice touch, it's subtle, but of course this shoe gets a really big inspiration from the Chicago Jordan 1, so when you look at it at first glance, it really does resemble that shoe, and because it resembles that shoe, I think a lot of sneakerheads also took this shoe as an opportunity to replace that shoe if they didn't have it in their collection. And on top of that, they did give us two laces, which is really cool. It really gives you that opportunity to go ahead and make the blue pop a little more on the shoe. And of course, they had the nice, beautiful translucent sole on the bottom. I haven't worn this shoe yet, but with it being 5 years old, it is starting to yellow a little bit. One of the downsides of having a translucent sole like this, but still really dope to have them. It's never going to leave my collection. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so having both of these shoes is honestly just really dope. Now, putting both of these releases together, you can really tell that this pair right here is a little more toned down than this release is here. And I gotta say that the one thing I don't like about this shoe is that it doesn't scream Spider-Man to me the way this shoe does. Between the blue Nike Air tag, the blue laces that you get with this release, the kind of overall aesthetic of red on this shoe, and then the icy blue translucent sole, kind of gives off Spider-Man colors in a way that this shoe just does not. But don't get it twisted, I still think that this shoe is phenomenal because to me, I think this shoe does the whole Spider-Verse thing perfectly. You really do look and get a glimpse of what it would look like if you took this Jordan 1 and put it in different universes. And I think that for that, this shoe is a phenomenal release. But of course, this shoe is advertised like a Spider-Man shoe, and everybody who looks at this, even though this is called the next chapter and this is called the origin story, you look at these shoes on the internet and it's all going to say Spider-Verse 1.0, Spider-Verse 2.0. And to me, when you put these shoes side by side, they tell a different story. And that's not really a bad thing. But from a Spider-Man's perspective, this shoe just does Spider-Man a little better, and this shoe does the Spider-Verse a little better. Now, I've seen a lot of confusion online as to why Jordan Brand would name this the Air Jordan 1 Next Chapter, but I actually think that it's a very fitting name for this shoe. When this shoe released in 2018 alongside the first Spider-Man movie, the whole movie was entirely about Miles Morales' origin story becoming Spider-Man. Now, this was the first Spider-Man one that they kind of released, which made sense why in its release date they called this the origin story. It was the first release of a Jordan 1 inspired by a Spider-Man movie. On top of that, you are also getting the origin story of Miles Morales in the movie. So when they released this shoe, and then they're going to release a second movie with a second shoe to commemorate that movie, it makes sense that this would be called the next chapter if you view these like a story, your origin story. Every superhero has one. Then you have the follow-up, the next movie, the next chapter in the book or the comic book, whatever. Here you are with the next chapter. Now, there is going to be another Spider-Verse movie coming out, so if they do choose to release another Spider-Man shoe, I don't see why they can't call it like the final chapter. Then all the shoes tell a story, and that's why I think that the next chapter name really fits. Hopefully they do another release of a Jordan 1 with the third film, and hopefully they keep them high. I don't really think they need to go low. They're killing it with the ones right now. But yeah, I view these as a story, so I think that the next chapter name really works for this shoe. Now, I gotta be honest, this shoe just isn't for everybody. I mean, as a Spider-Man fan, I am ecstatic to really have this shoe because it really does look like a unique kind of piece of art. But on foot, I think that it does its job very well. I think it stands out, really gives you that one-of-a-kind feeling that I don't really think any other Jordan 1 can give you the way that this shoe does. But I still think a lot of people are going to prefer this shoe on foot versus this shoe. I just think that this shoe reminds a lot of people of the Chicago Jordan 1. It's a lot easier to wear, so of course I think this resonates with a lot more people as a whole compared to the new release. And I gotta admit that this glow-in-the-dark look that the next chapter gives you is a really nice touch. But regardless of which one's your favorite, you're still going to look really good swinging through the city, whether it's in the origin story Air Jordan 1 or the next chapter Jordan 1. Now, rating the Air Jordan 1 next chapter, I gotta say that this is an 8.5 out of 10 for me. I think that this shoe is phenomenal. I think that it looks unique. I think that it's a really good sequel to the original release. The only thing for me is that it just doesn't give me enough of a Spider-Man feel. It does its job phenomenally. It really gives that Spider-Verse feel. It gives that unique look, that one-of-a-kind look, and it's going to be an eye-catching shoe either way. It's staying in my collection. I'm happy as hell to have it. But I gotta say that I still prefer this shoe first because it gives me more of a Spider-Man vibe. I'm a Spider-Man fan. I was really looking forward to these because of the fact that I was hoping they were going to give me a bit of a Spider-Man feel. And, I mean, yeah, it's red and black, but it doesn't give me enough of a Spider-Man feel like this one did. And for that, I would still say this is my favorite overall Spider-Verse release, but it's still not a bad release here. But guys, this has been my review of the Air Jordan 1 Next Chapter. Let me know down below in the comments what you think of this shoe. Are you going for them when they release on May 20th? Are you looking forward to the next Spider-Verse movie? And which one of these releases is your favorite? This is Vintage Brian, and I'll catch you on the next video.